What was the toughest part of being injured and not being able to play?
The thing is, when you're playing and you're healthy and stuff, you just think, oh, I'm playing this tournament next, and everything's fine. You're just playing tennis. But then, for the first time really in my career, the few weeks after the surgery, I was actually okay. I was watching some of the tennis. I wasn't missing it that much. But then towards the end of the year, when I was watching the tournaments, I was like, I actually really, really like to be there, and when you're healthy and everything's fine, I don't think you think like that. It's when you're away from it, you realize you miss the competition, you miss being around the events, you miss visiting the cities, and in a lot of them I have really good memories from some of the tournaments over in Asia. Obviously the O2 at the end of the year, the World Tour finals. They're just tournaments that I would have liked to have been involved in, and it's not until you're away from it that you realise how much you miss and just enjoy being around a tennis tournament. Because a lot of players say, oh, it's quite boring, we go to the courts, we practice and we play our match and then we have to do press and we go home. But I actually realise that I actually like doing that.
Rafa's been very appreciative of how supportive you were during his downtime when he was injured. Is there anyone during your period where you've been out here and been dealing with some physical ailments that has been especially supportive?
I've had messages from a few of the players. Rafa, I've spoken to him a couple of times, and like I say, I speak to him the most out of all of the players really. Juan Monaco, I played in Spain with him growing up. I know him well. I practice with him a lot. I've spoken to him a little bit. But then the most important people are the guys around you, and everyone's been very positive. I've tried to stay as positive as I can myself every day in training, and the rehab process, as I'm sure you know, it's quite tedious at the start. It's slow, and I've got through it fairly well so far, and the guys have helped me a lot.
You've opened up and given more access to you recently. You had an incredibly successful documentary that was very well received. And now you've recently come out with a book. Did you like having people be able to see that side of you? Because they see you on the court, they see that intensity, but people that know you off the court, similar to Lendl, similar to a lot of great champions, even Pete Sampras, they're so focused and have to be in order to be great in tennis. Did you enjoy the fact that people were able to see a different side of you?
Yeah, I think the thing that was nice for me was that you had some, obviously, control over what was going out. I had a few problems early on in my career where I used to be very open and honest and show my personality a lot. If you went and watched the first year I played Wimbledon, for example, I saw a video of it the other day, and I was jumping around on the court. I was so excited, so pumped up. I was very open and honest to the press, and I had a few issues with things that basically went wrong, and I was like, I was dealing with things that I didn't want to have to deal with. So it was better just to be sort of straight back all of the questions, and it saved me a lot of time and energy. I didn't have to explain myself all of the time, so it was good to do that in a way, because I could just concentrate on playing tennis. But there comes a time when I got the opportunity to do a documentary and open up a little bit, and I think it was a good idea.
You mentioned when you weren't playing, you were quite an active tweeter, and you have pretty strong opinions in social media at times. Do you enjoy that outlet and being able to engage with your fans and get your opinions out there in your own forum?
Yeah, I think I like it just because you can't change what's said. Sometimes because the messages are very short, that some people maybe take them the wrong way. But yeah, I think it's a good thing. It's fun for the players. Loads of the top tennis players and are using Twitter now, and I think it's all good fun. You use it a lot, don't you?
I am quite prolific.
Yeah.
Not as many people care what I say as you, but I am quite prolific.
Yeah, I don't follow you yet, but I might do after this interview. I might start following you.
That hurts. That really hurts. You could draw a correlation between the Miami Heat's success and you becoming a season ticket holder. The day after, walk us through the process, but it pretty much correlates directly. Andy Murray's commitment to the Miami Heat start winning.
Well, basically, I was talking with a couple of my friends, Ross Hutchins and Julien Roger. They both play on the tour, both doubles players. And we were talking about buying a box at the Miami Heat. We all train here and spend quite a lot of time here. And we go along to a lot of the games. So we were thinking, you know, should we do it or not? And Jules didn't really want to do it. He was sort of umming and ahhing about it. Me and Ross were quite up for it. And eventually we went for it. And the next day, LeBron James and Chris Bosh signed for the Heat. And then obviously the rest is history. Since then they made finals the first year and then won the next two. So it's been a good investment.
If there's one thing that the public might not quite understand or might not quite get about Andy Murray and you have a chance to set it straight, what would it be?
I don't think people realize how much pressure I was actually under, and the things I went through with the media earlier in my career that people didn't really understand and kind of shaped how I was maybe on the court, because I certainly changed the way I was on the court. If you go back and watch some videos, I just felt like I was being judged a lot. You know, if I said one thing wrong, and you know, everyone does, everybody makes mistakes, and I think I made quite a few when I was young. You know, I was in the spotlight from a very young age, at 18, 19 years old, and it took me time to come to terms with that. And yeah, that's the one thing that I would say is that, you know, if you just think, I went very quickly. I was playing in front of 15 people in futures events, and 3-4 weeks later I was playing in front of 10.5 million people on the TV on the centre court at Wimbledon, and I was getting followed around by cameramen, and everything I said was making the papers. It changed very, very quickly for me. So I would say that it took a bit of time for me to adjust to that.
Is there a player of a different generation that you relate to the most?
Look, now it would be easy for me to say Ivan, because I know him now well, and you know, our results and the way our careers kind of went at the beginning were similar. But when I was growing up, I mean, I used to love Agassi. I loved Agassi, loved watching him play. I loved his personality on the court. You know, so I had I had a hat that had a blonde ponytail that I used to wear when I was practicing, and I had the denim shorts with the pink lycra underneath. Like, he was the guy that I loved watching when I was a kid. He really sort of got me into tennis.